Hello, happy Sunday. Welcome in for our collective week ahead card pulls. We have a big week, a lot of significant energy that is moving. We are opening up to eclipse season part 2 for this year with a super moon lunar eclipse happening this week and capping off the week with equinox, change of season, and the entrance of Libra season as well. So happy birthday to all of our beautiful Librans here. And we are going to talk a little bit about some of the energies I've already tapped into, as I mentioned on the Sharecast here, for the weekend when I did pull some oracle cards and share some alignments and alliances that had been coming in throughout the week from connecting with you guys for personal card pulls and just you sharing with me your little anecdotes and ways in which all of the beautiful collective energies we've been tapping into applied for you. I always love to hear that. So we're going to continue on with the Storyteller's Tarot and all of the fascinating mythos and legends that have come forward. I mean, I can't make it up. I mentioned last week the Mothman, which I hadn't really heard the full background on. We learned last year that it's a legend originating from West Virginia in the USA. I did not know that. This weekend, I got to visit my daughter at college. Yay! And walking her dorm hall, somebody had a poll on their door about voting for Batman or Mothman. And it created a whole conversation where I was able to impress my family with my knowledge of why, yes, Mothman, a little bit about that background. I had no idea. So I hope you're enjoying that. We have a couple of different decks we're working with that kind of really bring in that extra layer of, information you never knew you needed to know. So I like to try to use my discernment about how much I dive into each of those things, but I hope you appreciate, those little extras that come through because there's always symbolism and meaning to be gleaned from all of it. So as I mentioned with the weekend card pull that I did from this beautiful oracle deck, which I'm actually bringing back for this week, this is the Unshakable Inner Peace oracle cards. Really enjoyed the messages that came forward from that. Hadn't used this one in such a while. Definitely with this sun, moon, nods coming in here, being that we have this eclipse happening this week. This one feels really good. And then also, as I mentioned, I did pull from both the Queen of the Moon and the Queen of the Sun for my full moon empowerment reading that I recorded last week that is available if you're not already with me and have received that for the empowerment sessions that I'm offering this month. Please check that out. If you're interested, I have it available a la carte and you will receive the full part 1 video where we dove into all of these oracle card messages as well as the astrological weather supporting this lunar eclipse. We did a 6-card spread with additional oracle card messages. And then on the other side of that would be a personal card pulls just for you. I'm actually pulling from 2 different decks for that one as well, including an equinox message, because that's coming right up too. So if you're interested in that, check out the link. I'll put it here at the end of all of our week ahead messages again. And I did share that on Friday as well. So in there, and I'm just going to pull these up so you can see them. I'm not going to deep dive into these for our week ahead messages because like I said, this has already been shared in the full moon empowerment reading if you want to go deeper. You might recognize this though. This is the Queen of the Moon card that came forward for the new moon in Virgo at the top of this month, the first week that we met here for September when we did our collective week ahead card pulls. We also had a new moon coming in that second day of September. We pulled the acceptance card right here in our collective card pull. The same exact card out of 44 came forward for this lunation. So what more could acceptance be bringing forward for us? This energy of the number 4 for structures and foundations and the framework of things and how we see this coming together with this energy of love and peace as well. This is the one where I shared one of my old reels with Piece of Clay, the song that I had woven by Marvin Gaye, a little reel for the International Day of Peace, which by the way, I believe is the 21st of September or the 27th. So it's coming up. Maybe even this week. I'll have to double check that. I forget what the date was. And there's so many different days and dedications to keep them all straight. every day is a day to bring forward the energy of love and peace, of course. So with this, of course, I went deeper with this in the empowerment reading. I also pulled from the new Queen of the Sun sister deck, and we got the card of mental health, even further underscoring the fact that I shared on Friday the self-care message, the self-love, the support of really supporting ourselves, mind, body, spirit, all, right? And this also brought through a beautiful message, bringing through a multiple of 4, the number 16, which also is something that we got into in the full moon reading. So I just wanted to bring these in. I'm going to just kind of put them out here because we're going to pull our week ahead cards here in a moment. And also just share with you the healing energy sprays that I'm bringing in. One from Friday that you may have seen if you saw the card pulls and the messages I shared. Of course, love and peace, feeling perfect in terms of the vibration that Archangel Chamuel brings forward. It's very soft. And again, we're going to infuse that in here, speaking to love and peace in all ways. And then also, especially because this upcoming full moon lunar eclipse is in the sign of Pisces, which is culminating endings, the final sign of the zodiac. There's a lot of symbolism in this eclipse that's coming in. I will touch on it a little bit here in our astrological weather. Of course, again, we go deeper in the empowerment reading. I brought in Archangel Zadkiel for forgiveness and transmutation. And so once here, I'm going to bring that in too, because it's really feeling quite the energy for us to connect with any full moon, because full moon's bringing in that sense of culmination of what is ending and completing, that we're closing up in terms of releasing, shedding, leaving behind, forgiving. So we bring in this frequency and I love it. Acceptance, love, peace, forgiveness, and transmutation. And then we have this beautiful energy of mental health, which one thing I did mention about this card in the empowerment reading, it gives me Chariot vibes, you know, the Chariot card in the tarot, about forward moving, about really rolling into the new in terms of, you know, getting on our way, on our journey. And that before we do that, of course, wanting to be sure that we are in our best position to do so, like any vehicle where we make sure the oil is changed, the tires are rotated, you know, all the things that I like to say about the Chariot from a practical standpoint. Mental health is something that's really coming up here and being underscored in terms of the love and compassion and grace that we can extend to aspects of our energetic bodies, mental, emotional bodies as well. So this all just weaves very nicely with the messages that I shared on Friday. So again, if you want to look back, haven't seen those yet or what, check it out if you feel so called. Let's get into our card pulls because I know we got a lot to cover today. Again, this is going to give you a little something to digest throughout the week. As I shared on Friday, I will be traveling on Wednesday, and I will be away through the equinox. I'm very excited to be going to a place that just from everything that I know about where I'm going and with whom I'm joining, I'm just so excited for the potential for joining with like-minded souls and really having an opportunity to connect in nature and, you know, see what comes through. That, of course, I will be bringing back tidbits and photos, I'm sure, to share here. And so since I'm traveling Wednesday through Sunday, I'm not doing the personal card pulls this week. But like I said, if you want more, the Empowerment Pack full moon reading, it's $22. It's available already. I'll send you the link. There's an hour of material there. And then on the other side, when I return, I'm going to be pulling your personal card. So if you want more, check it out. Also, I have my very special and popular Equinox spread that is available. I'm going to be tuning in here for setting up an altar space for Equinox, whether you are in the northern or southern hemisphere. We will have a spread for you that will tap into the energies of this incoming season of autumn or spring, and really bringing through some beautiful messages there too. So when, you know, we see the booking link here, both of those types of readings are available as well. Okay. Let's see, Monday through Friday, what's coming in? setting off, kicking us off for the week. Let's see what the Monday card has in store. Card for Monday. One card. You know, listen, guys. Yay. It's the Chariot. Yep, it's the vehicle. It's the Chariot. And we've already gotten this card this month. I think we got it the very first week, not last week, but the week before. I think it was a midweek blessing. We can't make it up. Like I said, this card was giving me Chariot vibes, and it came through from the Queen of the Sun, which the reason I chose to bring in both the Queen of the Moon and the Sun is because a lunar eclipse, of course, is that alignment of, in this case, we have the sun, the earth, and the moon aligning. So we're going to talk about that a little bit in the astrological weather, but look at that, coming right in with a big old ping from the universe on that spiritual breadcrumb. Yes, the Chariot is definitely an energy we have here to tap into with this week's energy. So we'll talk about that. And now we have Tuesday for a potential block or challenge. Oops, we had a flipper. Who flipped? Queen of Spikes, Queen of Swords. Okay, noted. So let's see what's coming forward for the potential block or challenge this week. Tuesday. Ooh, the Lovers. Another major arcana. So that was major arcana card number 7. The vehicle, the Chariot. Here we have number 6, the Lovers, also bringing in a beautiful message of duality here. This mix, duality we see in the Chariot, here in the Acceptance card. I mean, it's beautiful. All right. So Tuesday is going to bring in that potential block or challenge around choice and duality and bringing heaven to earth energies. Wednesday, midweek blessing. Let's see what that midweek blessing is. My travel day, and it is the lunar eclipse from Tuesday into Wednesday. The Hermit. Oh my goodness, we've got major, major, major right here. These are significant energies. Major arcana means the big secrets of the tarot, those archetypes, those significant stops along our fool's journey. The Hermit. And let me think about this. So we have 7, 6, 9. Wow. Yeah. So this is really cool. So we've got some really strong energy coming in here right away. Let's see what we do for Thursday and Friday. It's really setting a tone here with these major arcana cards. Midweek blessing is in the inner wisdom and going within for sure. Okay. And it's Virgo energy too. So Virgo's having its last swan song as we finish out this week and culminate into Libra season, of course. Thursday, how are we growing this week? Knight of Hearts. So we broke our major streak. We're in the minor arcana, those just little secrets, those minor details, the people, the places, the things that make up this journey through this week. King of Hearts, Knight of Hearts, Knight of Cups. So there's definitely some action happening here from the heart and feels and flow. That makes sense on the other side of a lunar eclipse in Pisces, bringing in the flow and the feels, bringing in definitely connection in with spirit, with intuition and more. Friday, how are we wrapping it up? Let's see, a Friday card to wrap it all up. One card for Friday. The 9 of Wands, the 9 of Scepters. So this is going to bring in definitely, because this is the suit that does constellations. We see a lion here. So 9 of Scepters, 9 of Wands. So we'll tune in for that message, because I think maybe on the other side of this eclipse and gearing up for equinox, that's could be bringing in some specific messages to kind of light the pathway forward that we're stepping into on the other side. Okay, let's pull our unshakable inner peace oracle message to go with all of this and just kind of Thinking of it in terms again of lunar sun energy coming together here with this eclipse, and it's being a super moon, which again I'm going to talk about here next in the astrological weather this week. What do we need to know around self-care, for self-awareness in terms of best foot forward in navigating these very powerful energies? Eclipses always promise powerful portals for change and transformation. So this is going to give us some guidance around best path forward. One card, please. Unshakable inner peace. The Hermit is winking at us on that notion because it comes from within. All right, let's see one card here. Oh, talk about that powerful sun-moon connection. Whew. All right. You are the image maker. What you focus on manifests. What thought pattern do you need to shift? Yeah. So again, just see how beautifully we have a full moon and we have like a sunburst coming out from around it as we talk lunar eclipse and this alignment. As we bring in again the energy of 7, just like the Chariot, this is an energy of 7 with 3 and 4. So again, it's very spiritual. It's very mystical in terms of connecting us with the divine and our own inner divinity. Really feeling that through these major significant cards that came through here. These 3 really feel very potent in really escorting us is what I'm feeling, like leading the charge through this lunar eclipse and into eclipse season, because we'll have another eclipse coming up here next month. So, really feeling into what this message is in terms of our thought patterns. Once again, big old nod to that mental health and the mind, body, spirit connection. Beautiful. All right, guys, let's get into it. We're going to go ahead and start off first with our energetic weather for this week. Let's take a look. All right, let's get into this week with some energetic weather. We're going to take a look at some of the intuitive astrology around this incoming week with some pretty big headliners. So I'm going to touch on the Pisces lunar eclipse and the equinox at the end, even though that's next Sunday, just to kind of take you through that full spectrum. And wow, what a big, bold, beautiful altar we have here with all the colors that are coming through and the symbols that are coming through this week. So we're going to have our first noted aspect here being the September 17th, 18th, Tuesday, Wednesday, super full moon in Pisces with a lunar eclipse. So this is going to be our last lunar eclipse of the year, but it's the first eclipse for our September-October season. So the Pisces lunar eclipse is special because it's giving us a taste of what's to come under this Virgo-Pisces eclipse cycle that is really going to be fully activated next year. So, eclipses are always part of cycles. They follow an 18-month cycle. So in this case, we are just in the very early stages of what this eclipse cycle is destined to bring. So the Pisces lunar eclipse is likely to bring endings to chapters. Like I mentioned, Pisces is the final sign of the zodiac, and we have this kind of closing out, because it's culminating here with this full super moon. If we were dealing with any issues here at the start of the year that we have not yet resolved, this eclipse could bring a resolution. Yay! Finality, right? Closure, clearing out so that we can step into new. So while there can be some challenging energy around this eclipse for sure, and most likely, you may already be feeling this energy building as we head towards Tuesday. Perhaps, and again, depending on where you are in the world, Tuesday, Wednesday, perhaps something may be removed from our lives. Or again, there's this clearing, this creating of space, this opening of the way, because eclipses always put us where we need to be. And like I say, it's eclipse season, baby. Nobody's exempt. You don't have to be tuned into the moon to be feeling the effects of eclipse season, even if you don't know what is going on or even have a sense of it, you are experiencing it on some level. So this eclipse is falling in that watery, sensitive Pisces. So this really helps our intuition to be on point as our guide. So we really have an opportunity here to listen to our inner voice and be mindful of our energy and who we are choosing to surround ourselves with. So again, this hermit showing up as our midweek blessing on the eclipse day feels really potent. Listen to your inner voice. This being in our minds in terms of the mental health component, in terms of our beautiful oracle card that we have this week that we're going to talk about next, really getting into our mindfulness of our energy and our thoughts and the state of our mental health, and really tuning into those areas where we could use some clearing and clarity so that we are able to step forward, best foot forward into this next cycle. Like I said, we really go deep into it in the empowerment reading. So if you want to join me for that lunar eclipse reading, check out the link I'll be sharing here at the end. Now, moving into the following days after the eclipse, September 19th, we have the sun trine Uranus. So the sun in Virgo will trine Uranus in Taurus. So that's actually bringing some positive information our way. We may receive some news that's promising or grounds us in a particular direction. The sun trining Uranus can also help us to make changes with ease. So this is a good day to take steps in a new direction. I love that. And again, I really feel it's so interesting with the chariot showing up and chariot vibes showing up in multiple places, as I mentioned in the card pull, and now this beautiful oracle card we have in the center. It really feels so aligned with this energetic weather. I love it. Then we have September 21st, the sun opposite Neptune. So this is really about looking back to what was happening for you earlier in the month. Was there some confusion for you that finally got cleared? Were you able to bring illumination to something that had been hiding in the shadows? Whatever was coming up for you in the first part of the month is now likely to reach a closing chapter. So this is a good point to kind of assess, look back, take a look for the first 2 full weeks of September. How had that unfolded for you at the time of that new moon in Virgo that kicked off our month? What was still sort of in shadow? What was it that we still didn't have full illumination of that now post-eclipse we could be getting some clarity around and some closure as well? And then finally for this week, I'm going to touch on the September 22nd Sun in Libra equinox. So welcome to Libra season. Happy birthday to our Librans and the equinox. This is where we experience equal hours of night and day. So this is a powerful day in our calendar to really honor our journey and to bring balance into our being, because there's this equilibrium of light and dark with the sun. Reflect on what you are choosing to give your energy to and see if there's room to make adjustments. Our energy is our most precious resource, so we must use it wisely. Libra is ruled by Venus, so this is also a very powerful time to lean into our Venus qualities. Spend time creating beauty in your environment and within. Focus on your finances and be sure to make time for your friends. So this is a beautiful time to really be connecting with those loved ones, with self, again, with the things of beauty that bring you feelings of beauty outside and inside, and also a little focus on finances and getting things into alignment as we continue through September's alignments and alliances. So alignments in the areas of our beauty within, beauty without, with our surroundings, alignments with our finances, and alliances with our friends. I love it. One other aspect that day is September 22nd, still the sun trine Pluto and Venus square Pluto. So the sun and Pluto come together in harmonious alignment here, along with Venus and Pluto. So this is a unique combination that can stir up some power dynamics when it comes to our relationships. So we may feel the need to put our foot down and assert our truth. And alternatively, we may feel guided to step back and perhaps practice more compassion. So trying to find that balance between the two, it's a good idea under these energies to really work towards that. And again, we've got that potential block or challenge this week being the Lover's card, which is bringing in that balance of the as above, so below, as within, so without. It brings choice. It brings duality. So yes, this could be a challenge in some ways, and certainly in a good way, I think, because it's showing that growth, that progress when it comes to those areas. Okay, I'll leave it there. I took it all the way through Sunday of next week just because we had so many big energies. So I'll put that there. And now we can roll into our oracle message from Unshakable Inner Peace to really kick off our cards for this week. Let's take a look. Here we have a beautiful oracle message to kick off our week's messages coming from the Unshakable Inner Peace. It just seems to be so in alignment with all of these messages. As I remind you, we brought through the mental health and these aspects of the mind, body, spirit connection ahead of pulling this card. This one comes in with this specific message. You are the image maker. What you focus on manifests. What have you been focusing your attention on? Take a mental inventory of your current situation. What is causing you the most frustration? Now assess your thoughts about that situation. Chances are your thoughts have been focusing on it too. We always get what we focus on. It is law. I call it expectation equals magnetization. Or where my focus goes, energy flows. So same thing. You may say that you want more money, but you focus on how you don't have enough. Or you want to find true love, but you secretly feel unworthy of love. Or maybe you want to get healthy and lose weight, but you say unkind things to yourself in the mirror. You may have every intention in the world to move forward, but if your thoughts aren't aligned with your actions, your efforts will be muted. You will always get what you focus on. Thoughts overtake action every time. So use this time to realign your thoughts with your true intentions. When you focus on the things you want with ease, no mental barriers will hold up the manifestation process. Believe and focus that what you want is on its way to you. Focus your attention on the outcome you desire most. I was seeing our Knight of Hearts as I was sharing that piece there because that's our Thursday card this week. We've just pulled it. It is for how we are growing. And I love when it says here that, to allow the fact that thoughts overtake action every time. So use this time to realign with your thoughts and your true intentions. Well, when we talk about the Knight of Hearts coming up, it's a beautiful golden helmet with a heart right in the center that's feeling very connected to the fact that if your thoughts are not infused with that heart-centered focus, that is what will overtake your actions. So your actions will be steeped in whatever your thoughts are carrying. So I think that's really beautiful and very aligned here with this message. Now, this card offers us a divine assignment. It says, if you focus on what you don't want, you will get more of it. Use the law of attraction as a mirror of your own mindset and self-worth. You are always experiencing the outcome of your previous thoughts and the decisions that you made in the past. If what you experience is not pleasing, shift your thoughts. As you do this, you change your outcome. Start by being aware of the thoughts that are not a vibrational match to your ultimate desire. Then shift your focus to what you want and how you want to feel. Each and every moment, you can realign and refocus your attention on what you want. You have the ability to attract more enjoyable circumstances. It starts with your thoughts. So just, a question for reflection here. What thought pattern do I need to shift? Do I want to shift, right? So we're really, being selective in the words, the language we're using. We want to use empowering language, not that we have to do it like some kind of a burden on a chore list, but rather something we wish to do, that we intend to do because we say we want a thing. So when we take a look at that thing, that feeling, that experience that we wish for in our life, and then the actions that we're taking around it, and or thoughts that we are having about it, where is there a mismatch? Where are those things not in alignment? These are messages that have been coming up from the inception of these messages this month, because that's what alignments and alliances is all about. Those are the words that had come forward for me when I tuned into the September energy, and this is exactly it. Those ways in which Virgo season has had us looking at, where our list of things doesn't line up, does not compute with the steps that we're taking, the thoughts that we're having, the energy that we're expending, and I think there were some really good practical examples here in the Oracle about, you say that you want to feel better in your body, be more fit, be more active, have more flexibility, better health, better well-being, you want to lose weight or have, the physical effects of that. And yet, what are your actions? What behaviors? What are you thinking about yourself? Because if you're pummeling yourself with insults and, words of defeat and failure, those two things are not in alignment. So this is so on point with so many of these tarot cards that we have this week that we're going to dive into here just in a moment. So I think that's perfect for really setting us forward. And I love the optics here, right? You are the image maker. What you focus on manifests. And I love how it looks because they're all suited up and ready on this path. And it's an open highway. It's an opportunity for us to make the journey what we will. And that is a perfect segue to our first card of the week, the Chariot. Let's take a look. All right, here we go. We are kicking the week off with the Monday Storyteller Tarot card that came forward again, because this card came forward the first week of September in the Wednesday position for how we are growing. It is, of course, the vehicle, the Chariot, card 7 of the major arcana. So when I first shared about this card 2 weeks ago, I'm not going to get all into the mythos here again because I did share that. Garuda, the Hindu demigod. So this is primarily depicted as a vahana, a mount or vehicle of the god Vishnu. So again, like the Chariot, a vehicle. I had just said when we pulled this card today about the mental health card from the Queen of the Sun giving me the Chariot vibes, and how, we were sort of getting this nod towards the traditional chariot in the tarot, where we sort of see a light and dark sphinx or horse or characters that are pulling the chariot forward, and then there is a driver. There's one who is in that driver's seat. And so this sense of what type of a journey do we wish to have? Do we intend to have? And being that we just talked about this beautiful oracle card that came forward with the open road in front of us saying you are the image maker. What you focus on is what manifests. So there's a sense of, behind the driver's wheel, when I'm in that seat, I decide, right? And I always say this, we can't control when we're on the road, the traffic, the weather, the detours, the road rage, the other drivers, right? We only have control of our actions and reactions in our chariot. And so, when this talks about coming into a place of discernment and authenticity and really aligning ourselves with how we wish to experience the journey. I mentioned that I went to visit my daughter this weekend. Yesterday, we traveled to see her, which is about 90 minutes away, but we had, all these other things going on, sports and kids things on the weekend. So we sort of had to go a roundabout way to go pick up another one of my daughters from her sports thing, and all the things. So we ended up encountering traffic, delays, numerous ones. In fact, we were in the area of something that's called the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair, which is a very popular festival that goes on this time of year. And of course, it was a beautiful weekend. Turns out the exit to my daughter's college from the highway is the same exit for the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair. So there was so much traffic backed up, directing traffic, all kinds of people behind the driver's wheel, like so many different things. So I just literally experienced this yesterday, and, just trying to breathe and be patient. And even just as a passenger princess that I was playing the role of yesterday, I needed to summon some patience and some sense of divine timing and understanding that it was all unfolding, and really what we had to look forward to was being together and all of it, And so that's a core message of the Chariot and here as the vehicle about, having that sense of the direction in which we wish to take, determination, willpower. So really having this sense of going within and believing that we have all it takes for this journey. And it really is a sense of having these periodic evaluations over, how it's all lining up. And like I say, when we use the car analogy, it really hits home for me because we're talking about the ways in which we prepare for a journey to make sure, as I am this week, right? To make sure, and not just a car, but any method of transportation from here to there, including your own 2 feet. So we talk about what shape is our vessel in and how are we navigating and bringing things into alignment, clearing things out that don't belong, junk in the trunk, stuff that's not coming with. So this is really just an awesome card to kick us off and so aligned with these energies that are coming through for this eclipse week. So I'm going to leave it here with this one. We're going to move into our Tuesday card for this potential block or challenge. Okay, Tuesday brings in a potential block or challenge this week with the beautiful Lover's card, another major arcana card. As we know, the first 3 of this week are significant energies, and this one feeling so aligned. I mean, you might recall that this frequent flyer came back as a overarching energy of this incoming lunation. We also had it here for the new moon in Virgo at the top of this month, acceptance, and this connection of these 2 hands coming together in this really powerful energetic way. We point out the light, the dark, the difference in the aspects that we see here. The Lovers does that very same thing. It talks about duality. It talks about choice and this sense of, what is coming in. Here we see water, here we see earth, bringing together those elements in a way that's really beautifully harmonious, which this is the card 6 of the major arcana. And 6 does carry a vibration of healing and harmony, of balance in relationships. And yes, this can highlight our relationships. This is about a potential challenge this week. We talked here in these cards about the ways in which, and the astrological weather, our relationships and those dynamics and friendships and connections could be something that we're focusing on this week, culminating into the energetic weather I shared for Sunday, also equinox. So this balance, this bringing into equality and harmony. And so the Lovers come forward. Now, again, this is card 6, and it is depicting for us a story from the Storyteller's Tarot. And this one is for 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓮 and Kauai. In ancient Hawaiian traditions, one story tells of a beautiful princess named 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓮, who was madly in love with a handsome fisherman, Kauai. Since the custom of the time strictly forbade royals from marrying commoners, one of the kupuna's elders advised the couple to journey to ask the high priest for guidance. When they arrived at the temple, the priest explained that he was unable to give them permission to marry. It was up to the Hawaiian gods. The sky turned dark and a raging storm brewed, signifying disapproval of their relationship. 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓮 took the flower from her hair and tore it in half, giving one piece to Kauai, and instructed him to return to his village by the seashore. She returned home alone and lived her life in the mountains without him. This is the reason that the 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓮 flowers bloom in halves, with the 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓮 kuhiwi blooming in the mountains and the 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓮 kahakai blooming near the seashore. It is said that when flowers join together after being picked from their separate locations, the lovers are reunited once more. Beautiful. So there is this sense of, and in that story, of course, we didn't quite get the happy ending of them being together happily ever after, but there was this beautiful symbolism in taking a piece and having a half and a half that come together as a whole. And one of the overarching themes of a Lover's card is as above, so below, as within, so without. It's bringing heaven to earth energy. So it is a choice. It's something that we choose to see or not. And so we have this sense of this card also saying, you are the image maker. You decide. What you focus on is what you will manifest. What you invest in your relationships, including the one and most importantly with yourself, is what's going to set the tone for what materializes. So, block and challenge. Okay, so that's hard to do, isn't it? To always keep those thoughts pure and clear and high vibrational and in alignment with what we say we want. If I say that I really want to, it gave another example in that oracle card about, having abundance in our life, whether it be money, material, health, well-being, joy, a job that feels fulfilling, whatever that is. But we spend the majority of our time thinking about how far we have to go to get there, the lack that surrounds us, that we just don't have what we need in order to make those things happen, then we are doing the opposite of what it is we say we wish to experience. And so that is tricky. It's challenging. So I really feel that coming in here. Now, it also does speak to powerful bonds between people. Yes, this can be romantic. Sometimes not, but it's always about choice. So whether this is speaking to you in a current relationship or potential relationships as well, not for everybody, but the ways in which these challenges can show up, it calls for compassion, love, and respect. And that, there is this alignment coming in that we have an opportunity to choosing the best version of ourselves, acting based on love, and then taking that higher path. I mean, I really feel there's so much connection here. The Chariot, the open road, the duality, and the choice that's coming in. And so, kind of highlighting for us the areas in which we may be really feeling this or experiencing it. And, label it as we will, a challenge, a block, a difficulty, a delay, a detour, however it's coming up for us, it does offer a way forward. So let's look at these cards that are coming in as some best advice, some best guidance for the ways in which we can tap into that intention as well. Let's bring in Wednesday's card. Now, Wednesday comes in for our midweek blessing as another major arcana card. Big secret, big significant energy for us this week, and it's a blessing. So despite the challenges and potential blocks that the Lovers presents us in the way of choice and calling for us to bring in more harmony, love, and compassion, where is that best to be done? Within, going within. The Hermit comes in. It is the Virgo card here. Once again, here at this final week of Virgo season, in what ways can we take that aligned action in our life in really practical ways that can bring about from within what it is we wish to experience without. Now, you might not realize here, this is actually a fox. And so the Storyteller's Tarot is going to bring us into what has been related to the Hermit energy here. Wild Fox Koan. Again, I know my pronunciations are off. I do my best. A koan is a story, dialogue, question, or statement used in Zen practice to test a student's progress by provoking the great doubt. One koan tells the story of a monk who was transformed into a wild fox for 500 lifetimes after denying the fact that an enlightened person falls into cause and effect. Appearing in Zen master Beizang, after a lecture, he demanded a turning word to free him from his animal form. Beizang tells him, "Do not ignore cause and effect," which released the monk from his wild fox body. Later, one of the Beizang's disciples, Huangbo, asked what would have happened had the monk not denied cause and effect in the first place. Beizang beckoned him closer for the answer. Huangbo approached and slapped Beizang, anticipating that his master intended to strike him when he got close enough. Beizang clapped his hands together and laughed approvingly, likening his disciple to the Zen patriarch Bodhidharma. Okay, I knew I saw this card once before. It was in a personal reading for someone's month ahead energies, and we both were laughing because as I read it to her, I got to that last part and I was like, I'm not sure what I just said. I don't know, maybe it makes sense to you. And then when she let me know that she was cracking up with me because it was like, I'm not sure what that's saying, but I understand that what this is, now that I've just read this a second time, cause and effect, and understanding that from, again, it's like as within, so without. So there's this anticipation of, the thing that leads us somewhere in the first place. We make a decision, we take an action, there is an effect. I guess they were describing the whole slap that was heard around the, the monastery here, because there was this sense of cause and effect, this lesson coming from the master. But let's see how this weaves in for our blessing that's coming in here through the hermit: inner guidance, self-actualized wisdom, solitary learning. So when we talk about the blessing of going within and having that sense of, yes, inner peace, yes, inner knowing and wisdom. And again, this is happening, this energy on Wednesday over the lunar eclipse in Pisces, which is very psychic, very much connected into that type of energy where we're talking about really having a direct connection and clarity to our inner inner knowing, our own intuition. The hermit reveals how it's not always easy to see how a situation can be a teachable moment that's ripe with learning opportunities. Mistakes and false confidence may put you in unforeseen or even troubling circumstances, but only once you realize you have the power to learn from them will you break the cycle. So again, it's saying, like, it gives me a little nod to the magician here as well, because of this needing to be open to trying these things and to taking those divinely inspired or those intuitive hits that we get, to take an action, even if there's an effect that wasn't desired, an effect that we didn't anticipate, or that we call a mistake, that is actually that information gathering, that ability to take, what we knew and what we didn't know when we did a thing and what we know now, and letting that inform where to from here. So it's actually giving us, in this journey that we're taking this week in our chariots on this open road, that if we were to go off-roading a little bit, if we were to meander off to a rest stop or to a little pull-off spot to take a photo or to have an experience, who knows what we might find there, and who knows what we may have avoided up ahead on the road by taking that stop, by veering off of the beaten path, by, taking that inspired moment. So, again, this whole energy of where we're going and how we're going there and the choices that we make as we go is really clear here. We're really getting reminded of this repeatedly. And like, we said, let this Wednesday, Thursday, Friday energy inform us on a best path forward. Start by going within and have a willingness to observe from that very wise place, that you have a willingness to observe the ways in which your choices have that cause and effect. It's actually something, yes, I know it can be trepidatious when we make a choice and make a decision and we don't know how it's going to turn out, and we hope that it's successful, but it might not be. And then if we let the ego pull us down into that thought spiral of all the ways in which it might not be, we're no longer focusing on the thing we said we wanted, right? So this is bringing us full circle into these messages about the mental health, the focus, the expectation equaling magnetization. So let's see what's coming in for this Thursday card, which also felt very connected with that Knight of Hearts energy as well. Thursday is bringing in how we are growing this week with the Knight of Hearts, which is bringing in action-oriented energies in the heart, the feels, flow, the element of water. And so this is, like I said, this symbolism feels like when we were talking about the message here about, the idea that our thoughts can overpower our actions. So I love that this is literally the helmet that's covering the crown, covering the head as a means of protection. And it has that heart right center. So it's like, when my thoughts and my consciousness is heart-centered, then my actions can be heart-centered as well, because my thoughts are more powerful than my actions, because they do create, they manifest, the materialization of that energy. So let's take a look at the story here. The Knight of Hearts. This is the cap of invisibility. I'm already thinking of a funny thing that we can't make up for myself, and maybe I'll tell you if it makes sense here. Also known, the cap of invisibility, also known as the helm of Hades. Wearers of the cap became invisible to even other supernatural entities. Hades cleverly wore this helmet to become invisible and enter the realm of the Titans, where he destroyed their weapons and armaments and ended the Titanomachy between the Olympians and the Titans. Perseus also used this helmet to sneak past the sleeping Gorgons that were tasked with protecting Medusa, allowing him entrance into her cave when he ultimately used his mirrored shield his shield and curved sword to behead her. Okay, so cap of invisibility. Appearing upright, this card indicates that pursuing creative ideas is a major focus. You may feel compelled to accomplish your goal. You see it as your mission, not just wishful thinking. Leading with your heart allows you to be open to all beautiful things, because passion is what drives you. So check in with your emotions and intuition and let that continue to guide you, even if others claim that what you are doing doesn't make sense to them. Yeah, so it's the same thing. Let your heart and your intuition, it's also positioned right over the third eye, that heart, be your guide. So whether others understand or not, lead with the heart, lead with your intuition, and that being, again, best practice, best guidance for how to take this journey. Okay, just in case, because I just teased that something earlier today, I was cleaning out some old stuff and I had this spiral notebook that was my 12th grade journal from creative writing. And we had like all these different topics we had to pick. And I was cringing a little bit at some of the things I wrote, because I couldn't believe that I wrote these things sharing them with my professor, like the teacher at the time, stuff that was going on in my life that I was like, wow, that's a lot of, transparent information that I'm sharing. But we had these little prompts that we had to do. And one of them was, would you like to be invisible for the day? And how would you like that? And I was kind of surprised that my answer at the time was like, no, I really don't think. While I think it could be novel initially to think that nobody can see me and I can do anything and go anywhere and maybe watch movies for free or, get places without, being detected. I went into this whole thing about how I felt that it was really an invasion of people's privacy, and that, thinking that you could sit in and hear conversations or witness things that, were about you or that you were curious about or what have you, that there were certain things that just weren't, and it was just very interesting. Like I said, not necessarily in the vein of this message, but certainly I'm feeling seeing these breadcrumbs coming about. I'm feeling these synchronicities of messages that have been coming up around me, when once again, it comes to discernment and freedom to express ourselves without fear of judgment and retribution or, other topics that are, very present on our collective world stage in terms of freedom of speech and expression and also monitoring and being invisible, big brother, all that. So it's quite interesting, because these are all topics that have been coming up around in the ethos. And, here comes the cap of invisibility. So I'm just saying that for those of you who know, but that's funny because, I just read my journal entry from 12th grade. There were some other ones I thought were very good, and it was really interesting to see how consistent certain things about me were present even then, so very long ago. Longer than I really can even fathom at this point. But anyway, I digress. Let's get on to our final card for Friday. All right, Friday is bringing in a wrap up for the week, and we have this card coming in from the Wands suit, the Nine of Scepters. And this is the suit in the Storyteller's Tarot that brings in different constellations. And yes, as we could have guessed, it is Leo. This is my sun sign. And it's bringing in this message of the Nine of Wands, which is a card of determination, hope, and persistence. That oftentimes there's this sort of, sense of perseverance. The number 9 in general is almost to 10, almost there, almost to completion, almost to finishing out that chapter, this task, this cycle, whatever it may be. And that's perfect because it's Friday and we're talking about moving into equinox in this weekend coming in on the other side of the Friday energy, where we're also finishing out Virgo season and beginning the Libra season. And we're talking about finishing out the current season, whether it be summer or winter, depending on where you are in the world, and bringing in the new seasons of autumn or spring. So loving it. Okay, Leo, let's talk about this constellation. Impervious to attack, the Nemean lion was known for his golden mane and claws sharper than any sword forged by humans. The mighty Heracles fought the lion as a part of his 12 labors. Seemingly an unfair fight, the tides of the battle turned when Heracles dropped his weapons and strangled the lion with his bare hands, thus completing his first feat and commencing his long journey to redeem himself. Heracles wore the pelt of the lion as a fearsome reminder to his enemies. Now, that legend coming in here, that story from the constellations coming in here, because sometimes that Nine of Wands can have that, sort of battered but not out sense of others that may be coming at us from different directions in a way that we persevere, that we find a way beyond. So let's just see what's coming up here in the messages. When this card is appearing, you are searching deep within yourself for the inner strength to conquer a monumental final hurdle. So we're feeling the effects of a long fought battle, or we're feeling the effects of some sort of situation, circumstance, something that we're moving through and we're almost there. Something that might feel impossible to you. Take solace in the fact that if you didn't truly believe you had the strength to overcome this obstacle, you wouldn't be persisting in the first place. Don't give up. You're so close. So yeah, it is. It's perseverance. It's carry on. You've got this. And really, I think summoning that lion within us, and I think it's perfect because, of course, the lion is a symbol of courage, of bravery. And so that, visual of the cat looking in the mirror, but it sees a lion looking back at them. It's like, again, with our thoughts, again, with the way that we're speaking to ourselves and thinking about ourselves and looking at what we can and can't do. And if we're casting spells around the idea that, like, I can't do it, I don't have what it takes, I don't have enough, I have too much of this, whatever it is, we're ending that script, and we're being shown here through all of these cards this week the opportunity for us to, again, not surprise, guys. And it's the missing sequence because it's card 8 of the major arcana. So we had 7, 6, and 9. 8 would be the strength card. And the strength card is the overarching energy of this year, 2024. It's an 8 year. So the major arcana 8 is strength, and it features typically a lion with, a lot of times traditionally it's a woman. I haven't seen the strength card yet in this deck. As I talk, I'm just going to take a look and see if I can come across it here for a moment to share what this version looks like for us, because it really does feel aligned in terms of taming that beast within, that lion that we wrestle from within, that says that we're not enough, that we don't have what it takes, that we're lacking in some way, that it's taking too long, that we're never going to get there, it's too hard, whatever that talk is. This is bringing us full circle. Oh yeah. This is bringing us full circle to where we began, about the power of our thoughts and the mind and our mental health. So how are we feeling in terms of, what we believe about ourselves and what we are able, what is possible and what we can do. And so if we feel, remember, we're talking about eclipse season. We're talking about potentially feeling the effects of something that we know, we haven't quite been able to complete in some way, or something that needs to complete in order for us to take it to that next level. And it sometimes can be something that we didn't think we were ready to have end, or that we didn't see coming, and all the different ways in which that can present itself. I'm feeling guided to share the message for this strength card. I'm going to take a picture of it and bring it up as a separate, just so this message for Friday isn't so long. But feel free to check it out because it feels noteworthy. It feels like something that is like a little piece that clicks into place here when it comes to our major arcana cards of 6, 7, 8 would be this one, and 9, to kind of, again, align into this opportunity to line up and really get into a sense of clarity with, what we are capable of, and having a belief in that and summoning that from within. And even though we have our faults and our flaws, because the lion in this card represents the ego, and there's an aspect of it that needs to be brought into balance, be brought to heal. Again, it's some of those aspects are our greatest teachers. And had we not had those experiencings and those fumblings and those cause and effects of all the times that went in whatever direction it did, would we have learned the lesson in the way in which we had, and everything that is yet to come in that open road that we're creating from here on out? So let's bring that up and take a look at it now. So here we have a little bonus message coming in for the alignments and alliances of these major big secrets that are coming forward for us through this week of eclipse and equinox energy. And again, ever since we hit that June turn into the year, it was feeling like we were kicked into the high gear of the energies of 8. And it's so interesting because how that played out then throughout the coming months, and here in this month where I really felt guided to revisit the wood dragon, which this being the year of the wood dragon in the Chinese zodiac, and this sense of, that being a source of luck and success, growth and power and strength. And it was so aligned with the messages of the strength card that we are also experiencing. So here it is. This is the storyteller's version of strength. It is the story of the lion with the red eyes. A Somali folktale tells of a small village long ago where villagers raised lions from birth to guard their farmlands. One day, a lion cub named 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓾 was born with red eyes, that they glowed like fire. His appearance caused fear, and he was banished from the village. 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓾 grew into a very strong but lonely lion. He would often walk to the edge of the jungle and longingly look upon his old village. One night, 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓾 saw a dragon swoop out of the night sky and attack the village, setting fire to the fields and snatching sheep in its claws. The village lions were no match for the strength of the dragon. The village was attacked night after night until 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓾 charged out of the jungle, summoning all his strength and courage. Surprised to see 2 flaming eyes come rushing at him, the dragon was caught off guard. 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓾 killed the dragon and was welcomed back into the pride, becoming the most celebrated warrior of the village. Okay. So courage, strength, compassion is what the strength card emanates. And so it reminds us that strength isn't always about sheer physical power, but rather the courage to have face situations with a strong will and determination. And it says you have the strength to make it through whatever hardships you might be facing and will come out the other side better for it. So I love that because, that sounds like the 9 of Scepters, which is the card that, of course, led us to pull this in, because the 9 of Scepters was our Friday card bringing through the Leo constellation. You have what it takes. You have all the tools you need. They are all within you. And so this is just such a beautiful and powerful, I feel, missing link, that next piece, that puzzle piece that falls into place with this 6, I'm changing up the order this week of our major arcana cards, 6, 7, 8, 9, the sequential. And again, Maybe that's the inner Virgo wanting to put it all in order. It doesn't have to be in order. Mix it up. Have fun with it. We're talking about card 6, the Lovers, card 7, Chariot, card 8, Strength, card 9, the Hermit. And as you tap into what the messages are that came through from each of those cards and the intentions that they went with, whether we're talking about a potential block or challenge this week, if we're talking about a blessing that we'll experience, if we're talking about a bonus here with this Strength card, how is this coming up for you? And reorder it in a way that feels aligned for you. And make sure that your thoughts and your mental energy that you're putting into it matches what you wish for, what you intend, and you can do that this week with this full moon is set some intentions about what you want to release and let go and shed and forgive in order to be in a more aligned place of will, determination, courage, strength. So yeah, I love it. I'm sure this will continue to show us all the ways in which it is playing out this week. And as always, I love to hear from you guys. So you can let me know, what might be resonating for you, how it shows up, as we move through this week. Feel free to reach out. Like I said, I am going to be traveling as of Wednesday, but I do hope to pop in. I will be sharing a message, some additional messages around the lunar eclipse when the time comes between Tuesday and Wednesday. And again, invite you to join me if you haven't already for the full moon empowerment reading. I think some really powerful messages, very aligned with other messages that are out there, some resources that I brought in for all of that I'd love to share with anyone who feels so called. And then when I return from my travels, we will be on the other side of Equinox, and I will pull your personal cards for that as well. So if you'd like to join, please check that out. And also my Equinox special that's available. And I will be sharing a sneak peek at that altar space as well as I tune in and set that up. Okay, guys, thank you so much for being here. I'm wishing you a beautifully transformative full moon lunar eclipse, and look forward to connecting with you as I go on the road and travel, and send you much love. We'll talk soon.